Hello, I'm Chris Osmond, and this is Solutions. Enough complaining, let's fix America. Today, I'll be reading another excerpt from my book. This is from page 106. It's actually from chapter 12, and it deals with what the protesters that are going around the nation right now. It has to do with the fact that we've had peaceful protests like Occupy Wall Street, Black Lives Matter, No DAPL, and more. We've had those peaceful protests, and each and every time they've been met with violence. They've been met with co-opting, having police pretend to be part of the protest so they can incite and escalate the violence. And then after the fact, nothing changes. Occupy Wall Street, those people did not have a clear and concise vision, but they did say that they wanted to get rid of the inequality in America, the wealth disparity that has festered and grown in America over the decades. So Occupy Wall Street, while they may not have had clear goals or an itemized list of what they want to change, they did want something to change, which was the inequality that festers in America. And yet and still, those peaceful protesters were met with violence, as are the peaceful protesters that are out there protesting George Floyd's murder. So until the peaceful protests are met with actual caring and moral decisions and policies that change this nation to make it a nation for all, I think the violence is going to continue, and it's only going to escalate. And we will have a country that's in disarray, and one that could go back to the Second Civil War in America. So, as I said, this is from my book, Solutions. Enough complaining, let's fix America. The irony of the hoarding of the rich, self-serving megalomaniacs is that they will have to live in the same world they're turning into one giant. Though these narcissists are no longer anonymous thanks to the internet, they believe that the ivory towers, missile silo bunkers, and perpetually ocean-bound Condo ships will keep them safe from the huddled masses. In a quest to hide themselves above the rest of mankind, literally in some cases, and their attempts to become gods on earth, they have failed to realize their mortality. Ivory towers can be toppled. Missile silos can be covered with concrete and ships sunk. While a civilized population would never consider such drastic measures, one that has been destroyed might, as their twisted real-life game of Monopoly helps them amass more potentially useless paper money. The people of the world grow ever more angry and wonder who to blame for the ghetto our planet is becoming. Don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating for or calling for violence. I would prefer a peaceful process, like that offered by Occupy Wall Street, to air our grievances and resolve the most pressing shortcomings of society. I fear, however, that the rich will continue to put down such peaceful protests until the police realize that they too face the ill effects caused by wealth inequality. Maybe this explains why some of the super rich are considering security measures like disciplinary collars for their security forces and even robotic security guards. If you don't believe me, look at the link below. There's an article written up in The Guardian that details how the rich are planning on putting or want to put shock collars on their security forces or replace them altogether with robots. Back to the book. You can't make this stuff up. Whether the apocalyptic future the rich envision is real or not, it should be disconcerting to us all that they are using their wealth to prepare for the disintegration of the climate, our economy, country, our world, instead of mitigating the problems. And now I'm going to read from the solutions portion or the solutions segment of my book. The way the book is broken down is I first make assumptions about different issues that we face in America. Then I present requirements that or the things that are required to make those changes, and then I present the actual solutions in the third section of the book. That's why when you see the book, the table of contents, a lot of the sections will look repetitive, but that's because of the way the book is laid out. It's talking about the same issues in the different sections. It's just presenting a different aspect of those issues. So now, this is under P, and it's entitled Policing in America. First, we have to admit that far too many police officers around the country have gotten away with breaking the law and violating the rights of others for far too long. Only after admitting that there is a problem can we address and correct it. Any cop who commits crimes or who allows any bad cop to commit crimes is a bad cop. For this and many other reasons, if one does not exist, we must create a national agency that oversees policing practices in the states. This national agency should be independent of state and local law enforcement agencies, but coordinate, train, and offer any type of assistance other than military weaponry needed in those states. The following measures should be taken by the national agency I propose. 1. If a police officer is found to have broken the law in any manner, they should be prosecuted according to the laws of the state or municipality in which they served. If the state does not have laws that cover a particular crime, federal law shall prevail. 2. If a police officer is found to have known of the commission of a crime and been complacent in preventing or reporting said crime, they shall be prosecuted according to the laws of the state in which they served. If the state does not have laws that cover a particular crime, federal law shall prevail. Complacency towards crimes committed by other police officers shall be treated as dereliction of duty and subject to appropriate prosecution. 3. If the state system of policing is so corrupt as to be unable to stop the recurring criminal acts of bad cops, the system should be examined on the federal level and replaced if necessary. 4. Community policing practices should be instituted wherever possible. Now, these things need to happen because the system is already broken. There is no fixing the police system around the nation right now because the racism is too prevalent and the control over which is too powerful. Those people who control the police basically have certain interests that are certain self-interests that exclude the rest of us. The police are out there now only to protect the wealth of other individuals, of a minority of the nation. So we need to put the good of the many over the good of the few. And we need to get rid of all these police that are committing crimes in the name of justice, or actually in the name of injustice, because there's no way that their immoral behavior could be justified. Thank you. Join me again for Solutions. Enough complaining. Let's fix America. Talk to you soon. Bye.